coming to you live from the fort here. We've got a subject today that is very tough for me because it's a very saddening subject for me. But the way that modern life has people living is just something that is truly sad. It hurts so much because when you're born, right, you're already born with microplastics in your blood, right? Your mother, had to give birth in an unnatural way. You come into the world, they immediately stab you with chemicals, right? And I understand that there's purposes for this, and I'm not totally well versed on the effects of vaccines. I understand that they can have a detrimental effect in for some cases, like with some of my grandmother's friends, they got the vaccine, shortly died after, referring to the COVID vaccine. I need to do more for the other ones, but from what I've heard, they've been used as a means of control. Seriously though, you come into the world, you get schooled 8 hours a day, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and the kids that can't handle it, right, the kids that want to be outside, doing this stuff like this, they are put in a situation where they're immediately put on drugs very similar to methamphetamine. You're fed goy slop throughout your time if your parents do not make enough money, and even then they still probably pack unhealthy lunches for you. You sit inside the majority of your life, the news constantly dictating what your parents think, right? And pretty soon, you as a kid are already beginning the adult coping mechanism that most of them around you are doing. You use the kid version, video games, sitting there scrolling TikTok all day. And habits like this form, and they create patterns over time. Eventually, you can only play video games and scroll so much. Eventually, your body craves something more. It wants double dopamine at the same time. If you're one of those people that has an addictive personality, you scroll way too much, and you're in a position where your body craves more. So you start scrolling with drugs. You start smoking, you start vaping, blah, 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 something like that. Or you just do other things, you get rid of the scrolling kind of bit, but you spend your time, messing around, vandalizing things, and breaking into stuff. And don't get me wrong, I used to do that, you know what I'm saying? Which is why I know what this feels like, because that's exactly how I felt my entire life. And then you graduate high school, feeling purposeless. You do what the rest of the sheep are doing. You decide to follow the herd, right? Okay, they're going to college, I'll go to college, right? And then after that, you're in debt, you're enslaved, you're in the system. They got you now. You have $100,000 of fiat over your head. You work till you die because you can't figure out how to make income other than trading time for money. Meanwhile, your money doesn't even go to your nation, your people. It goes to corporations and people above, right? Even that are above the president. So when you look at this reality, you see that we're being constantly, polluted by hyper-industrialization, and everything's about consumerism. Everything's disgusting. Most people are overweight in America. They don't have the drive to take care of themselves, to stand up for their communities, to go through a little bit of extra pain as opposed to living comfortably. Everything, technological advancement gets to a point where it's not beneficial for the human race. AI is an extremely dangerous concept and could lead to our demise, or in a way that the government has so much control that we can't even, live life as we know it today. And even the way we live now is not the best, right? For me, I believe that while, yes, we've advanced physically in some ways, we can make life longer and things, I believe that industrialization of society has brought great psychological suffering to most people. Nothing feels genuine. Nothing really feels real, and it's hard to be happy the way that modern humans live. It's just not how we're supposed to be living whatsoever. And so people drown themselves. They cope. Netflix, all this stupid shit. You would never care about that if you could live the way humans were meant to live. The most happy people are what people nowadays would consider undeveloped. You go to Yakutia, you go Siberia, you go to tribes. They're living. They're still enjoying life. You're not, because since you were young, you were exposed to pornography, video games, and you lived in this, messed up system for your entire life. Your brain is jacked up. You know what I'm saying? Your dopamine is so low, and you can't live the way you're naturally supposed to. Being outdoors, hunting, these types of things bring us natural joy. And now, the way that the men and women dynamic, I am realizing how many more videos I have to make. But you have weak, effeminate men, and you have masculine women in a way. And then you have women that are promiscuous, and you have men that can't provide. And so you're in this position where the modern generation of men are also promiscuous, right? Let's not pretend that this is a one-sided issue. There has to be, it takes two to tango. So morals have been completely destroyed. And now the future is just bleak. It just looks grim, and you begin to wonder, it's natural human nature to attempt to advance, but it needs to be stopped. AI needs to be stopped. These corporations that continue to expand and expand and expand, the illusion of the free market is kind of slowly being lifted. You start to realize the majority are owned by the same three organizations. And it's tough to understand that the government does not have your best interest, no matter how much they told you that. They seek more and more control as average people are more and more squeezed. And it's so sad, because most people, you can just see the misery on their face. It's just there, and they don't know what it is. And marriages suck, and people are unsatisfied because men are weak and honestly, incapable on some levels. 70, I know this is kind of a strange direction to take this, but most women are sexually unsatisfied. 70% of men aren't even in the physical shape. Their body is destroyed by microplastics. They're drinking and smoking and the unhealthy habits they used to have, and they're fat and kind of disgusting to their wives. They can't get turned on, and they can't get hard, either porn addiction or, like I said, degradation of health. And most couples can't even have, passionate sex, which is, a key aspect of human life. And just to see that, you see women that are, disgustingly overweight, men disgustingly overweight, and it's you guys aren't attracted to each other. Don't even lie, and you guys are unhealthy. I mean, it's just, I can't explain. It's just such a tragedy, the way that humans look now. We're a shell. I know it's kind of a grim video. I'm sorry about that, but I just can't help but notice. And where this turns to you is re-establish, and I need to be better about this, because I really haven't been, but really connect with God and understand that He has a plan, and these things will resolve one way or another. Spend time in nature with your buddies. Start building stuff like this. Go outside, hunt, lift weights, enjoy your capabilities physically as a man, because one day you'll be older and less capable than when you were younger. And find fulfillment wherever it may be. Avoid instant gratification. It's awful. Reading, journaling, spending time with buddies, playing chess, getting outside like this, jiu-jitsu, lifting weights, boxing. Finding a passion, something you enjoy. Let's say you're very passionate about building things, taking a path and being an engineer. Things like that can make modern life, a bit more bearable, I would say. but still miserable in a lot of ways. But the best things you can do is get out here and learn things and make change. It all starts on a minor level, right? These, societal changes start with mindset shifts, going away from the narrative, understanding that these people don't have the best interest at heart. The more you stray away from their madness is the more you'll become fulfilled at heart. But anyway, brother, have a good rest of your day. Praise God. Get better every single day. And I wish you luck.